So we've got Steven Taylor over here, we've got Adam Tuminaro, we've got Jared Falk, we've got Cobus.
I knew it.
Cobus.
I knew it was going to happen.
I didn't want to say it wrong, okay?
You get just commit.
Cobus do it.
Cobus Potgieter.
Cobus Potgieter.
Wait. Go.
We got Cobus Potgieter.
Oh, no, he didn't.
No,
No,
it didn't work.
try again
Okay.
one more time.
Cobus Potgieter.
Just say Cobus. Just say Cobus. We got Cobus.
We got Cobus. And then we
one
got
name,
David
it's like
Raouf.
Yep.
That's right, David
Yes,
Raouf.
correct, yep.
And then we got Juan Mendoza over here. It's going to be a fun time, and we really hope that you enjoy this. We hope you take something from it, and we hope that you achieve your dreams as a drummer and a musician out there. So thanks for watching. Enjoy.
Go.
Hey, what's up everybody? So I am super excited about today's video. I've been really pumped to post it because I love helping and inspiring people, and I think that the people in this video and the information in this video is going to do just that for you. While I had some of the biggest and brightest minds in the online drumming world with huge educational websites and drum channels and social media pages and really achieving opportunities to make a living in this online drumming world, I thought it would be just absolutely a missed opportunity not to get those guys to sit in a circle and talk about it and hopefully help and inspire you. So, pumped about that. I hope you enjoy this video, and since my studio is done now, I am opening up the doors for some Skype drum lessons as well as Skype one-on-one, YouTube, social media, kind of helpful chats. I can take a look at your YouTube channel and give you some tips and tell you some of the tips and tricks that I use, and hopefully just have a good time hanging out and encourage you on your journey to wherever you want to take your drumming. So thank you so much for watching. Enjoy the rest of this video. All the guys in this video have amazing channels, so you should subscribe to them, and a lot of them may be posting some of the other content from this group circle here that I don't post. I'm only posting some of it, and their channels, if you subscribe, you'll see some of the other sections and things that we talk about throughout as well. So please support them and check out their social media and their YouTube channels. Thanks so much for watching. Let's get back to it.
My piece of advice for people watching and this is focus on being world-class at what you are uniquely good at. And there's a term called unique ability from a guy named Dan Sullivan in Toronto. And unique ability essentially is what your essence is, or what other people appreciate the most about you.
Right.
And there is one thing for everyone. It could be like a top-level personality trait like empathy or gratitude, all these things, or it could be something, you know, like David, for you, like you're very relatable. You hit like white space in the market. You have your unique ability. I think you've kind of found it. You might have never known going into it.
Right.
But now you're like, okay, I know what people appreciate most about me. I drill holes better than anyone else. Right? That's good.
Yeah.
And Adam, you have your thing. Stephen, you have your thing. Casey, obviously, everyone here. So that's what I would say. It's like don't focus on trying to be what someone else already is. Focus on trying to be what you are uniquely best at. And this takes time. Push over and over again. Just figure that out.
You don't have to decide that before you start either.
No.
You know, I think that's almost impossible to set out a 10-year plan for what your YouTube channel. Like, you don't know. It's going to change several times on the way. You know.
Yeah, that's crucial. Like I keep telling people, I had no plan when I started. Zero. My plan was finish this video, upload this video. That's it.
Yeah, and that's what it should be, over and over and over.
Yeah.
Like, you know, nose down, keep working. That's
Yeah.
that's the way to get going, to get off the ground. You know, people get caught up in trying to predict or plan or design what they think it should be down the road.
Yeah.
And I think we all probably have similar stories in that, like, you know, your first several YouTube videos, like, I don't know. I just
No
made
idea.
a video, I guess.
Right.
You know, like, no clue what's going to happen.
Yeah.
But it doesn't really matter that early. You know, it matters that you finish things and keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you want to be a content creator, you need to publish content.
Yep.
Content. I always tell people, content is your inventory. Like a gas station buys bags of chips and everything.
Yeah.
You need to put content on the shelves. This is how you convert your ideas to fiat. And this is how you put food on the table and feed your family and then grow over time. So in the publishing world, there's a term, publish or perish. It's stuff like that. Like, focus on putting as much content out that represents you and who you are. And don't worry about the rest.
Yeah.
I think there's another topic that I think it's getting unseen is the production values are so high now
Yeah.
that some of these people are very intimidated to even start. There's probably people that have
happens a lot.
super creative ideas, but they're like, I don't have the cameras,
Mm-hmm.
I don't have the audio gear, and on top of that, I'm gonna get criticized
Yeah.
because I don't have that opportunity or that gear. Like when I started, I had a camcorder. You know what I mean?
Right.
Had no idea about audio, any of
Oh,
that stuff.
same.
It was just like, all right, let's just record.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people now, they're like, there's no way I can compete with this person because that person has these microphones, that person has these production values, et cetera, et cetera. So I think a lot of people, at least for me, it's like all the messages I get are like, what gear are you using? Blah, blah, blah. What do you recommend? This is my budget. You know what I mean? So it's, even though there's a lot of good gear out there now that you can totally buy, but when you're like 16, you know, or in college, and you're broke, it's like they're like, you know what, I'm not going to do this because I have to compete with this level of production, and I can't even afford it.
Right.
But
So what's the point? You know what I mean?
What's great is to go back and scroll through Casey's feed. I've left all of my old stuff
Oh,
up.
same.
Yeah.
And if you scroll through, like, you'll see the video from my garage with a flip camera. You know,
Flip cam, yeah.
horrible. Like
USB
some
right
of it, I was
inside,
still, I was
baby.
looking over my shoulder because I didn't have a good camera angle. You know, like it was awful sound. I always tell people, because it's a good point. It hangs some people up, and I always tell them like, go start wherever you are. You know, if
But
you have a
that's-
garage, if you have a space, put your phone on a stand. And,
Yeah, I
and
use
go.
my phone. My
Yeah.
first 20 videos were with a phone.
Yeah, but see, that's the interesting thing is that none of us had this gear when we were 16,
Yeah.
right? So the difference between our situation growing up in the drum industry and their situation growing up in the drum industry, the only difference is that they're just seeing crazier stuff.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
so that they feel bad about it, or they feel discouraged that they see all this gear. But that's really the only difference.
That's
Like
it.
we all had to save money and buy the gear. Like
Absolutely.
you have to also save money and
And
buy
I
the
think-
gear. Like it stings to see it so much on your phone. I
Right.
get that, but again, it gets back to like that's a personal thing. Because for us, it was
Yeah.
all a personal thing. We
Yeah.
were all broke, and then we made money, and then
Still
we bought
broke.
the gear that we wanted.
But I feel like
We're
even
sitting on Cooper's.
even before you get to a point where you can save the money and buy the gear, like you can do a lot with what you have. I
Of
think
course,
that was
yeah.
like the biggest thing for me when I started out was, and I honestly don't really have that anymore. And I struggle to get back to that place where I'm just like recklessly creative, where I just go, what can I do with what I have? I'm kind of just like, I feel like now I'm like held back by having 9 GoPros and the kit of my dreams and the symbols of my dreams. Because like back then I would go, okay, I have 2 friends that have cameras that I can borrow for a day. I can use an overhead projector as a light source. I can, like, I would just like, my brain would just work like that. I can build like 4 tables on top of each other for an overhead angle because I didn't have any wide lens. I had to get really far away from the kit. But when your brain works that way and you're like, you practice creativity and you practice problem solving, it affects everything and it makes everything better. And I think if there's like a mindset that I've seen in, especially self-starting entrepreneurs online, where it's like there was like an innate, I'm not gonna let the lack of opportunity or equipment hold me back. Like I'm gonna do what I can with what I have, and those are often the people who are successful, rather than somebody who had access to more gear. So it's way more a personality trait than it is.
Yeah.
And also, too, like, just like drumming or anything, the only way you'll get better at it is if you actually do it.
Absolutely.
So if
yeah.
you just, I don't have a nice camera, I'm not going to do it, you're not going to get any better at it.
Yeah.
I tell people all the time the most important thing you can do if you want to be a content creator is just execute whatever you have in front of you and then do something else. Like
Yeah.
getting hung up on whether or not
Absolutely.
you have a piece of gear is
Absolutely.
like, okay, well now 2 years went by and you made nothing, so that's not working, right? You
Yeah.
know?
The biggest thing is creating your own path. You have to create your own stuff because in your own identity for what you do. Because if you think about it, there was a time where 9 camera angles was the thing. Like
Oh,
in
yeah.
our videos, we were trying to do as many multiple angles as possible.
I
and
named
was
my,
switching.
my series based on how many cameras I
Yeah.
had for the first like 5 years.
But that's not the thing anymore.
No, it's
the
not.
thing. Matt McGuire's videos, that one camera angle moving around. Of course, you have to have someone there to move the camera.
Right.
But the thing is that your content is your content, and you create what you want to create, and you have that. You can't do exactly the same thing that everyone else does. Like if you're like, okay, I'm gonna do 9 camera angles and be Cobus, like they're not gonna be successful.
Right.
You have to be you, and that's the thing with these videos, and that's the thing with what each of us has done, is we created something being ourselves and doing what we did best.
See, I like to imagine that all this could just disappear overnight, and then
That's
what?
it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Then what?
exactly.
Yeah.
What if all your socials got hacked and back to square one? What are you gonna do now?
Right.
You know, if that crushes you as a person, like, you maybe should have your priorities like rearranged a little
Absolutely,
bit.
yeah.
You know, this is just some videos on the internet. You know.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing about it, and this I think is the concept that has helped me get through everything that I've done, and it's the fact that you do it because you love it.
Mhm.
You don't do it for the success. You don't do it for the money. You do it because you love it. If the success and the money comes, heck yeah. And of course, if you want to be a professional, if you want to make your living doing this, you have to, in a way, do it for the money or do it for
It's
the
balanced.
success. But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, I always say, if you do what you love every single day of your life, but you never are like a millionaire or you're never like super successful, like did you really fail doing what you love every
Yeah.
single day of your life?
A lot of miserable millionaires out there too.
Yeah, exactly. Money's not going to make you happy. It's doing what you love that's going to make you happy. And if you love what you do and you go after it because you love it and you do it because it's fun, you're going to put more into it. You're going to enjoy it more. And that's where, like, if you take the stress off of this kind of thing, like, I think the biggest lesson that I've ever learned is, first off, I'm not cool. So when I wake up in the morning, I don't try to be cool. I no longer like think like, oh man, like, you know, these numbers on the internet, like they don't make me cool. Like I'm this goofy, stupid guy that like makes these videos that are like halfway decent and make people smile, you know? And because of that, there's no pressure. I just make the videos because I love them. And if people relate to that, and if people relate to my smile while I play drums, and you know, some people don't like the fact that I play the way that I enjoy playing. I know how to play with proper technique. I can sit here and like, you know, just barely use my wrists and like, you know, and like, but like that's not fun to me. I do it because I love it. You know, that's what we do.
absolutely.
We
But
all
it's
have what we
wrong
love.
to play that. I have to like
It is.
use the wrist. Come on, yeah.
It's like,
Have you not seen any Drumeo videos? Come on.
I've got a pair of sticks here. Let's just talk about it. Yeah.
I love that, dude. I love that.
it's just like, it's about what you love, and you're gonna do a better job at it if you just do it because you love it.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
and that's why, like we talked about, finding your voice, finding your own path, your own lane, staying in it. You're not gonna be a better version of someone else than yourself.
Yeah.
And so, if you find out what you love and you do what you love, most likely it's going to be more successful than
Yeah.
if you don't. So.
Yeah, I feel like the question for me is like, what do you want? What do you want? Because we all want to be happy. We all want to be like at peace. I feel like those are what we want. That's what we want. And we think, well, the way that I get to that is through money. Well, I don't think that's how it works.
No.
Or like,
No.
I don't think I get through that by going through your journey. Like
Yeah.
that's what you did. Okay, if I follow that same journey, I'm gonna get to happiness and fulfillment and peace. It doesn't work like that. Like I feel like if you can get to what you want, if you know what it is, through your own path and your own journey, and you're actually missing the point if you like follow somebody else's journey too closely.
Another big thing that I'm talking to a lot of students about is this whole comparison thing that social media is having, especially younger kids do without them intentionally doing it. They just
Right.
turn on Instagram and
It's
they
subliminal.
immediately
Yeah.
compare themselves to. Whereas I used to turn on, you know, Tony Williams or you know, whoever, you know, U2, and I never compared myself. I was always excited. I was like, oh man, I can't wait, you know, to play that song. But now they turn it on, and instead of being inspired, a lot of times they wind up being the opposite of what happened whenever I listen to music coming up. And I don't know if that's an isolation away from the music or a focus on everybody's trying to portray their best.
Well, what I was going to say, based off what you said earlier, like how you compared and you like were inspired by like Tony Williams and things like that. I think the difference for us, and I think the difference for the way that you approach social media today, is that we are seen on a personal level by the people that watch us. This is not like they're watching us and they're following our every move. They see us as people. They don't see us as necessarily like those rock stars, I don't think. Like,
There's
I
less
don't-
distance.
yeah, it's like, it's more of like, that could be me, or that I want that to be me. Like, you know, you said that about rock stars too, but like, you're not thinking that like Dave Grohl is necessarily going to like respond to your comment if you comment to him, but you do think that we might respond to your
Yeah.
comment. And I think that the reason that inspiration thing is lost now is because when you see someone post a video on YouTube, like when I watch videos of you on YouTube, it was like, man, you know, this guy, like he's a guy like me and he's way better than me, you know? And it's like, you have to get past that mindset. You have to realize that, yeah, he's a guy like you. Like that video you posted on Instagram the other day, the single strokes, I wanted to find out how you snuck a robot into the video to play that thing, because like it was beautiful and so great. But Like, I see you, like, no offense, it's not that you're not a rock star, you are a rock star, but I see you more as a person than I see you, like, because I follow you and I see your family, and so when I see you do that, I think, man, you know, like, I can't do that. And so you have to, I think that's the reason that people respond the way that they do now.
One thing I do want to talk about is, I think the hardest thing now, and I think why people are very intimidated, cyberbullying, man, has been killer, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, people just don't want to get... First of all, we live in a society where everyone gets a trophy now. You know what I mean? So people don't like... People don't like, you know, critiques or losing or, you know, losing or anything like that. You know what I mean? So what happens is, I know I get a lot of messages like, oh man, I want to put this out, but I'm scared, you know, that they're going to kill me, you know, because I'm fat, or because, you know, I just look a different way, or I speak a different way from somebody else. And kind of getting back to what Adam said was like, you have to be strong enough if you're going to go into this realm. You have to just go, you know what, that's going to happen, you know, and you can't really like pay it too much mind, and just go, you know what, I'm probably going to inspire somebody else that looks like me, that sounds like me, that comes from the same area. That person needs to hear my message.
Well, not to cut off an awesome conversation here, but I know we got a lot of cool things to do today, so I'd love if, like, in an Instagram format, you know, like a minute or something, while we have people in this room that represent, like, literally millions of drummers and musicians around the world. Like, this, it's crazy that this is a thing right now. Like, thank you guys so much for coming. I'd love if each one of you guys could give like an Instagram minute of advice to your younger self, but instead talking to someone who's like trying to come up and do something similar to what you do. Just a short little like snippet of like, hey, you know, this is what I would do, or what I would tell myself that would help me achieve better. Is that cool?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Steven?
Yeah. You got a unique voice, and there's not another person like you. Like, you have a unique fingerprint. Everything you do is unique, and avoiding that is not going to help you any, because you're not going to become someone else. You can't become somebody else's fingerprint. So instead, embrace who you are as a person, your voice, what you like, what you don't like, your preferences, and lean into that. And then try to map out, you know, where do I want to be, not just in drumming, but in life. Like, do I want to be married? Do I want to be single? Do I want to live in San Francisco? Do I want to live in India? Just try to map that out, and then try to come up with a comprehensive plan of what is success that's not based off of a dollar amount. It's based off of what does family life look like? What does professional life look like? What does personal life look like? And you make more of a comprehensive plan that's very much you, and not like anyone else, but very much you in a universal way, all the way around. Like, the way you do family life is very much you. The way you do professional life is very much you. And lean into who you are as a person, because that's what we need. We don't need another Adam. We don't need another me. We don't need another Juan. We need, you know, you in whatever you do. So.
Boom. Nice. You got something?
Yeah, sure.
Don't steal mine.
Yeah, why do I
This is
feel
as
like
good as
that?
right? I'm just like racking my brain.
5 things in
Yeah.
one. It's a lot. There's nothing left for me.
By the
now.
time we get here, it's
Yeah.
a wrap.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming.
All right. Well, mine will hopefully be a little different. I think to everybody watching this, you know, you have to remember that everyone in this room, like, you're not looking at a bunch of lucky people. You know, you're not looking at a bunch of, you know, supernaturally talented people, excluding Juan, of course. You know, you know, and I think one thing that a lot of people don't realize is that if you want to do the online content creator thing, if you want to be a musical entrepreneur and sort of run your own musical business, whether that's lessons or covers or a YouTube channel or whatever, you know, I think a lot of people struggle with the willingness to take on the weight that really comes with that. You know, I think there's a reality to the statement that when you're a real entrepreneur, everything is your fault. Everything comes back to you. That doesn't mean you're doing everything wrong. It means that you have to take ownership over your mistakes, over things that you've done wrong, and how you can make corrections and do it better next time. And, you know, just have a willingness to bear the weight of what it really is to take on being a full-time content creator. You know, it's a tough job, and I think a lot of people assume that guys in our position we're just really talented or really lucky, or we started a long time ago so it was easy, now it's harder. I think that's all a bunch of nonsense. I think a lot of people need to put their head down and work a lot harder if you want the thing, that thing that's hard to get. So we'll have a lot more positive messages, but that's my brutal one. So seriously, suck it up and work harder. This is hard, and we all worked hard.
Straight up.
Accept responsibility.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, dude.
So my thing is, and I probably won't take a minute, but my thing is that I run my business since the beginning like I'm running a marathon. And you've heard the term, it's a marathon, not a sprint. Mm-hmm. But I always tell anyone that I talk to in my company that I want this to be here when I'm dead.
Yeah.
And that sounds morbid, but it's the truth. Like, I don't want to create something to capture as much short-term cash as possible and then gone. Like, I have 2 kids. They'll probably have kids. So I'm hoping Drumeo is around 100 years from now when I'm long gone. Wow. And this is something like, you follow Gary Vaynerchuk. He has this term called legacy before currency. And I really love that that term, because it's obviously the money is the tool that's going to help me accomplish the mission, but it's not the main thing. So just focus on doing something every day and focus on the marathon.
Dang, how do you...
I don't know, man. What do I say? Gosh, I don't even. I've been like racking my brain.
We can come back to you.
Yeah, let's come back to me. Okay. I'm thinking about it.
You just want the last word.
No, I know.
Yeah, you don't.
I'm like,
it's gonna be like the most inspiration.
No. Alternate between like something stupid and frivolous and very superficial and like this deep, like intrinsic life truth. But yeah.
Well, if you want to talk to that camera over there.
Right. So just don't worry about like people judging you, whether it be yourself or the content you put out. Because for me, I was like, well, yeah, this is fun, but who's gonna like it? No one's gonna want to cut up a drum, but it turns out that people do like that. So don't worry about what other people think about what you want to do. So yeah,
that's good. I like it.
Absolutely. My biggest thing is you got to be fearless with this whole thing.
Yeah.
And not worry about what other people's opinions are. If you're doing it because you feel like this is your purpose and you feel like this is what I should be doing, then do it. Number 2, you have to have fun with your content. Like when you start, it's always fun. But then when you have that responsibility, like, oh, I got to put out content, it's like sometimes it loses that authenticity and that funness about it. You know what I mean? So create content that you're going to look at later and go, you know what? I actually like that idea and I actually liked what I produced. Obviously everything can be better. Color grading and all that stuff, and nobody even knows about that stuff, to be honest with you. Like, we spend so much time doing that. Another thing is try not to spend too much time on a project because you'll never get anything done. As I know for me, I'm a perfectionist, so like sometimes I'll spend way too much time on something and then you don't even get the hits that you feel like you deserve per se. You know what I mean? So don't worry about the hits, don't worry about any of that. If your content is good, people are gonna follow. Also, last thing, be accessible to people. I get so many messages and I answer to everybody. Yeah. But on the flip side, you have to balance that out with your life as well. Yeah. And you have to balance, like if you're married or if you have a girlfriend or whatever, you have to balance life. At the end of the day, we still have a life to live, and drums is not everything in your life. So just find that balance and be authentic, because people are going to see through if you're fake or if you're a phony. People are going to see through that quickly. So just be authentic and just be a nice dude, man, at the end of the day. It helps. It helps. Like, all these guys are super nice, and that's why they're successful. You know what I mean? So good luck with that.
I got some.
All right.
Yeah, I got some. Real simple.
Take it.
I think the biggest thing would be do something. So don't do everything. Just do something. Do something today. I feel paralyzed often by wanting to do everything perfectly, or like trying to build a perfect strategy, or like do things perfectly and then I do nothing. And I think what's been really good for me is just to do something. So like you can always make one good decision now. Number 1 of 1,000 possibly, but you don't have to make one big good decision that affects everything positively. You can make small little incremental good decisions now. It might be go and practice for 20 minutes, or spend time with this friend, or go to the gym, or like spend time on yourself. But it's not impossible to make one good decision now. It's like really easy to make. You always have the power to make a good decision now. And the other thing I would say is, you have everything around you to make something. Like look at the things around you that you have access to in a creative and problem-solving way, and trying to see how you can combine those things in new ways to get you closer to your end goal. I think don't be paralyzed by what you don't have access to. None of us have focused on what we don't have access to. I struggle with that now, but in the beginning when I was most driven, I just used whatever I had at my disposal to move forward in incremental small steps. So the people who often move the furthest with the most purpose in the most effective way are the people who use what they have around them in the most creative way. And that's a skill that you can teach yourself regardless of what you have access to. Creativity is something you can cultivate. And that's a very transferable skill set. You can use that with making drumming videos or any area of life really. So yeah.
Nice. What about you, Casey?
Yeah, I was about to say, I'll finish off the video here. So my thing is to work hard, love what you do, and be a good person. Because you see this circle right here? I'm surrounded by some of the most talented, amazing people that I've ever met in my entire life. They all inspire me. They all encourage me. They all push me and make me a better person every day, and out there helping so many people. And I'm not sitting right here because I'm the best drummer. I'm not sitting right here because I'm lucky. I'm not sitting right here because of any other reason besides the fact that I love what I do, I work hard, and I try and love the people around me and be good to them. They all came out here not because I was paying them big checks. They didn't come out here because they were like really getting anything out of it. They came out here because they love what they do and they wanted to be a part of this, and because they believe in what I do. And that's the thing. If you want to be a gigging musician, you can't go on a tour bus and be the guy that nobody likes. You can't be the guy that isn't willing to go the extra mile for those people around him. I mean, this whole time, this whole weekend, this whole week, my goal is to be a servant to the people around me, to love them, to help them have the best time in their life, because that is how you make friends. That is how you make connections. You don't do it by insulting people on Instagram. You don't do it by thinking you're better than someone. You do it by loving people and by making connections and by making friends. And each one of the people in this room has done that. I mean, we've shared so many laughs through this week. Everyone's been so easy to work with. Like, it's phenomenal. And, you know, these guys, they're all hard work. They're all love for what they do, and they're all caring about you. And, you know, we wouldn't do what we do if we didn't want it to be good for you guys, you know? Like, none of us here drive around in Porsches and, like, you know, live a millionaire's life. No. It's not a big money thing, but we do it because we love it, and we do it because we want to do something positive, and that's what it's about. So thank you guys for coming. Thank you so much for being a part of this. Thank you for sharing your insight.
Thank you.
We hope that you find inspiration from this. We hope that you go after your dreams. We hope that you achieve something, because we know what it's like to have that dream. We know what it's like to want to do something. I wanted to build a studio where all my favorite people could come and make content that is awesome. And this week has been the most incredible week, because it's been 2 to 3 years of just working my butt off to make this thing happen, and it's becoming a reality. And so like I said, I'm not the best drummer. I'm not, like, I don't deserve any of this, you know? It's not like I'm anything that should have made this happen. I just put my head down, did what I loved, and tried to be a good person for the world out there and for the drumming community. And people relate to it, and people seem to like it, and I thank you so much for supporting it, and I thank you for supporting these guys. I hope you go, if you aren't following any of them already, all the social media is in the description. Please follow them all. You will learn so much. Thank you. Keep drumming. Have a great one. Be a happy drummer. I don't know. This is my problem.
That's good.
I just keep talking.
Be a happy drummer. I like that. That's a good ending.
Well, thank you so much, guys.
Absolutely.
All right. I think we'll call that one.